All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is up, Ship It Nation YouTube station? We got Thursday afternoon baseball slate here for you today. Hey, pretty excited here to break it down with my man, Fantasy Tips Matt. Of course, we're going to have it all here for you. We got, 7 games, I believe. Not too much weather we got to worry about, which is a good thing. But, yeah, I mean, we got exciting days. Seems like we've been on pretty early here in this, early part of the season here, Matt. Of course, kind of cold in some of these Midwest states out here. Daytime games a little bit nicer on the, on the game itself. A little bit warmer weather when the sun's shining. When it seems to go down, I mean, it gets pretty cold out here. That's for sure. But Matt, another week in the books for us. Glad to be back here with you on a Thursday. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, we've been doing a bunch of these early shows on Thursday, which I enjoy, man. I like early baseball. It's part of the allure of MLB, in my opinion. So always a good time breaking these down with you. I'm going to keep it straight class and not even mention the Cavs win over the Pistons.
No, that's all right, man. To go for it. Give me shit. I love it. I mean, the rivalry between like any Michigan and Ohio sport is just fun. That's the way it should be, man.
It is fun. It's real all across basically every sport. I mean, starting with Ohio State, Michigan for sure. So a lot of fun there.
We haven't beat y'all like a month of fucking Sundays. I mean, Ohio State got us last time. The Tigers lost to the Indians. I mean, it's just like, come on, man. We got to get one of these times.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I mean, I remember you guys getting us like when LeBron was coming up, and I'll never forget him just taking over that one series with like the 30-some straight points. But the Cavs, Pistons, Tigers, Indians, Guards, whatever, Michigan, Ohio State, it's fun stuff. I'm with you. So yeah, just a little ribbing there.
Yeah, if we could get the Lions and Browns to play in something good, it'd be the Super Bowl.
Seriously. Well, that's one thing you guys have that we just straight up don't have is a good football team. So very jealous of you there. But yeah, good win for the Cavs last night. If you stayed up and watched the end of it, we'll see if they can.
The last few games have been kind of tough to watch as a Piston fan. At the end, they just kind of unraveled the last couple times. I mean, the turnovers Cade had in the game before and this past one here, they had 9-point lead with 2 minutes left. I mean, it's like, come on, man, close the damn game out. They were taking terrible shots. Like, why are you relying on Paul Reed, in the last 2 minutes of a freaking playoff game? Like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. To me, the NBA is all smoke. I can't stand it, man. It's like the product's gone to shit recent times. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm just really not too big of a fan in the recent NBA times. But back, growing up with the Jordan and Larry Bird and the Pistons and, going into that time, I mean, I always tell everybody, Michael Jordan got me to watch basketball, and unfortunately, LeBron's generation got me to stop. So, but it did though. The 3-point shooting, like it's just, I mean, they used to back you down and get down in the post. There's like no more post players hardly anymore. It's just fired up from Steph Curry range, and it's just, I don't know. It's just not fun to watch.
Were you a big, and then we can talk about this later, were you a big like Pistons fan growing up though?
I mean, I loved the Pistons growing up. I mean, I went to the games when it was in the Silverdome when they were throwing haymakers with, Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish and Lambeer.
Cool. And so the first ever fantasy baseball league I was in was with my dad when I was like young. Like I'm talking, I was in like 7, 8 years old, and Bill Lambeer was in the league. So
nice.
As a Pistons fan, I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Hell yeah, that's a big dude, man. I've met him in person, and that guy is he is humongous. But either way, I'll tell you what. There's a thing on Twitter I like to see. I like to tease the younger generation. Tell them Larry Bird had more basketball skills than LeBron James will ever have. Larry Bird's one of the most skilled basketball players ever. But there's a Twitter like Larry Bird something. You can go on there and watch all the interviews with these guys that were guarding them and the shit talking that they were talking about. Man, it's some entertaining shit, man. It's good shit. But either way, love the Michigan-Detroit rivalry, but hey, we got some baseball here today. Both our teams are actually playing here today, whether you're a Reds or I guess an Indians fan. You said you were an Indians fan or Guardians in your case, but we got some decent pitching up top, I think. I mean, Nolan McClain, I think, is in a really good spot. 31% K percentage. Tigers got all kinds of strikeouts. Seems like they just been in an absolute rut here recent times. Like, even as a fan, it's just hard to watch these guys. As soon as Scooble went down, looks like the sail went out of that Tigers real quick. And then you got Chase Burns against the Nats. He's at almost 31% strikeout percentage. And then I think Kyle Harrison's interesting too at a little discount at almost 27% against the Padres, who generally I don't like chasing. But Matt, after that, I mean, kind of in the mid tier. I mean, you're sitting there looking at, Dollander is interesting, had some Ks. You got Carmen Mlazinski against the Rockies, I think might be interesting. Matthews maybe against the Marlins. Castillo, if you want to go there, I'd rather use them at home. But I mean, pitching up top looks kind of easy to me. McClain and Burns, I think they'll be two popular pairings today, especially on DK. I think you could see Harrison in there as well. But, man, I think McClain and Burns, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these two.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Harrison's not it for me here, just because I like Burns and McClain that much more. On DraftKings, they're all similarly priced, similar enough where, for me, it's pretty simple slate for pitching. I like the two guys up top a lot. And then there's three guys down low that I like, who you mentioned as well. Dollander, Mlazinski, and Zebby. I think there's other guys you can play, but for me, I'm probably going to narrow in on those five guys. Burns and McClain, just two really, really good young arms. I don't love the matchup for either, specifically for Burns, but both of these guys are good enough and have high enough strikeout upside where, as you said, I don't think you can really go wrong with either of them. And then the cheaper guys are all just too cheap. So, like, if you want to, stack an expensive athletics team or another expensive stack, you might need one of those cheaper arms. And I think they all are too cheap. I don't like any of them as much as McClain or Burns, but any one of them might be needed, again, if I want to spend up on bats. So, yeah, pretty nice variety of pitching options. I personally don't see much in the mid tier that I like. I like those cheap guys and then spending up.
Yeah, I know, like with Mlazinski there against the Rockies, and he's going to come in. He's expected to be the bulk reliever there. So I think, I mean, that guy, as cheap as he is, I think he's interesting. I think, as you mentioned too, Zebby Matthews against Miami is interesting. I think that's kind of a risk. I believe he started out in the minors at the beginning of the year.
He stinks, but he's got good strikeout upside. Yeah,
he does have the strikeout upside. I think this might even be his first start of the year. I think
it is. He
had a handful of starts in the minors.
He's been in the minors and not very good at the minors.
Yeah, that's I mean, hey, the Marlins, quietly, the day before put up a stinker. Yesterday, they were actually pretty good. So don't mind the Marlins. The Marlins and you look at it too. You look at the Marlins, the Pirates. We're getting into the White Sox. These are up and coming young teams that when you look at their lineup, you're just like, man, there ain't really too much name recognition. I know it's hard for people to click on them kind of stacks. So, but yeah, I don't mind. But pitching overall, like I said, I think it's pretty top heavy. I think those guys are going to be fairly chalky today too, up at the top, rightfully so. I think there's different ways to get different with bats today. So I'm not really too concerned about it. I just think those guys are so good that strikeout percentage is there. I don't think there's really any reason to get overly cute with it today. But I mean, yeah, if you want to play a high price stack, you more likely may have to pay down for some pitching. I think I would just kind of mix that up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think pitching, like you said, is fairly cut and dry.
Yeah,
who's your favorite?
I would say probably McClain because he's cheaper, and I feel the spot is a little bit safer. But not that I think, I don't go out of my way to pick on the Tigers either. He's just good enough where I think that he's probably too cheap for any spot. But yeah, I'm with you. It does seem to me if you can fit McClain and Burns, just play them. You might not be able to, and I think there's other viable options, but ideally, I would just be playing McClain and Burns because those are the two best arms here.
McClain, like I said, I'd pick on the Tigers right now. They just have not been good at all. But so
yeah, Carpenter's out too, right?
It is what it is. I think both of them up top are good.
Carpenter's out, right?
Yeah, he's been on the IL.
Yeah, he's been on the IL for like a week or something. I don't know when he's coming back.
All right, let's roll through these games here. We got the first one at the 12:35 start. We got the Rockies and Pirates here. We got Dollander against Carmen Mlodzinski here. But with the Rockies, I think, they got a low run total. I'm not interested in any Rockies against Carmen and the opener there. I think what could be interesting are the lefties for the Pirates. Dollander hasn't been very good against lefties. I think O'Neill Cruz a really good spot. I like him today. I think Brandon Lau's in a pretty good spot. Ryan O'Hearn, all them lefties, I think, are in a pretty good spot. So I definitely like the lefties. I was waiting to see if that lineup's been confirmed yet. But O'Neill Cruz is expensive. But man, he's in a really good spot. Pirates pretty heavy favorite today. So yeah, I don't mind the Pirates. Maybe even like a mini type stack today, I think would be interesting. But I really like the Pirates. I'd probably put the Pirates or the lefties are probably one of the best spots in the entire slate today against Dollander. But yeah, lefties for sure for me. Top one of my better stacks today.
Yeah, I don't like the Rockies really at all. I don't love the Pirates considering there's some other teams I like more on this slate, but I don't think Dollander's an ace, and I'm not afraid of the Rockies bullpen, so I get the case for him for sure. I think for me, I'd more likely use them as like mini stacks. We'll see how their lineup shakes out, but yeah, I get the Pittsburgh side for sure. Like I'm interested in Dollander because he's so cheap and has shown upside, and he's away from cores, but that doesn't mean I think he's something special. So yeah, I could see Pittsburgh getting to him here.
Yeah, he's been terrible against lefties so far, but yeah, I think the Pirates for me, I think you'll probably get them lower owned. They're priced up a little bit. With all that said, I think, I'd put them up higher up in my stack rankings today. That's for sure. The next game we got here, Nats and Reds. I think this one is interesting from the red side of things here today against Foster Griffin. But yeah, I'm not really interested in going up against Chase Burns. That Washington bullpen obviously isn't very good. I think Sal Stewart's in a pretty interesting spot here today. Kids come out of the gate here and been lighting it up. You got a couple cheap bats at the bottom part there of that lineup. But man, I think the Reds are in a pretty good spot. We definitely like the park, that's for sure. Home run, small American ballpark out there. But man, I like the Reds. I'd say the Reds are also a top stack for me today. I'd put them in my top 3 or 4 today. So, but yeah, Sal Stewart for sure in a pretty good spot. I'm not really interested, like I said, in going against Burns. Maybe you could get some leverage there if you wanted to take that risk. That's not for me. But yeah, Reds are looking pretty strong.
Yeah, the Reds look good here. I'm not afraid of Griffin, even though he's been good. Still a guy I think you can pick on in this ballpark. And I probably have slightly more interest in the Nats if I were like multi-entering and playing a bunch of lineups, just because Burns can give up power, and this Nationals lineup has been really good against righties. So you got a ton of leverage there, as you mentioned. But like, yeah, to your point, they don't look as good on paper as a bunch of other teams because Burns is really good, and I'm on the Burns side. The leverage point is real, and the Reds look good here. You got Dane Myers, who, there's pinch hit risk in this lineup, but if they get to Griffin, then you're not worried about it. And the guys that are who could get pinch hit for are cheap. So yeah, I could definitely get on board with the Reds here. They look good.
Yeah, Sal Stewart, I just been surprised what that kid's look like so far, coming out of the gate. Definitely a good protective bat for Ellie, that's for sure. But yeah, Reds looking good. They're in the top of the team totals today. Early type game. Yeah, and that Nats bullpen has just been absolute garbage. So definitely one we like to attack. We'll move on to the next one here. My Tigers going up against Nolan McClain and the Mets here in New York, which normally isn't a stadium that I like to play bats in. But, I can't really play any of these Tigers against McClain. I mean, I guess if you wanted to look at, one of the lefties, maybe with some power, if you were looking for any kind of leverage, maybe Riley Green, McGonigal, something like that. It's just really not for me. But Tigers got a pretty low team total today. On the other side, you got Kiter Montero going up against the Mets. Juan Soto is always in play. The Tigers bullpen has not been very good here recent times. I just don't really have any love for the Mets because overall they just have not been hitting good so far to start this season. And Matt, I say it all the time. I just, don't like to play teams that are in the bottom of the hitting statistics for the last couple of weeks, and especially for the season. The Mets are definitely there. The Tigers are definitely there. We got a low total in this game. So for me, I guess maybe if you wanted to pluck some one-offs, you could do so. Maybe if you want to stack up the Mets, I could see that, but I just don't like the park, and I think there's other spots that we could attack.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Montero, I don't think is very good, but he's not a gas can either. So I'm not needing to stack against him. And then with this lineup, I like their young, cheap guys. Benj up top leading off, and Ewing hitting eighth. Ewing, massive steal upside, just stole a ton of bags in the minors last year, fast as hell. Yeah, I could see using one-offs from the Mets, mini stacks, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in full stacking either side of this game. Obviously, Detroit, no thanks. If I were playing one of Detroit or Washington, it would easily be Washington for me. I think their lineup's better right now, has higher upside, and I think that, Burns is the more likely pitcher to give up home runs. So, yeah. All in all, not in on offense in this game.
Yeah, Matt, you're talking about the Nats. The Nats are second in OPS in all of baseball in the last couple of weeks compared to two teams that are sitting at the bottom. That to me, that's like the easy deciding factor. Do I want to play a team that's hitting, or do I want to play a team that sucks balls? So, pretty easy for me. But all right, let's move on to the next one here. We got the Marlins and Twins. This series definitely been interesting so far as DFS perspective goes. Seems like the Marlins have been fairly chalky here in recent times. You got Zebby Matthews against Braxton Garrett. I think this one's interesting from the Twins' perspective. I think the Twins aren't in a bad spot here today against Braxton Garrett. Lefty there. I definitely like some of the righties. Jeffers is interesting for me. Of course, Buxton is in a pretty good spot. So, I think the Twins are a team that I might look at today. If you want a little bit of leverage against Zebby Matthews, who, overall isn't really the greatest, I don't mind, somebody like Kyle Stowers, maybe Liam Hicks, you could go that route. But I think the Twins stand out a little bit more for me, especially the righties. And I think Jeffers is a guy maybe that I'd call even to hit a home run today.
Yeah, I actually see it a little bit reversed. Just very similarly, just reversed. I like the Marlins side a little bit more. I'm more likely to use Zebby than Braxton Garrett, I think. But Garrett's been good in the minors so far. He's an arm that we know is talented. He missed all of last year, but prior to that, he's a talented arm. I don't really want to pick on him. Not that I think he's some sort of ace or anything like that. I just feel like Zebby, even though he has higher strikeout upside, which is why I'm interested in him at 6,200, he can also give it up. So the Marlins here are cheap. They got it done last night. The top of the lineup, though, didn't really do much. So I think you can go right back to those guys: Edwards, Lopez, Stowers, Marcy. Miami looks good here. Not great hitting weather in this spot. So, that might keep me away from it, but it doesn't look like there's many good spots for hitting on this slate in general. So beggars can't really be choosers. So all in all, I like both of these stacks. I like Miami a little bit more.
Yeah, Ricky, we'll give Ricky a little credit there about the wind blowing in 20. It's 16, 17 miles an hour blowing across the field from what I'm seeing, from right to pretty much from right field all the way across like to third base. So yeah, definitely some wind heavy, games there, but I don't say I love it. It ain't the top of my fucking, stack rankings today. Neither one of these teams. I think the Twins, I'd have ranked just a little bit higher just because we don't know what we're going to get out of Braxton Garrett. We don't know how long we're going to get him. I think that's kind of what, when I'm looking at. You're right. Garrett's definitely was a decent prospect until he got hurt. But, yeah, no worry, Ricky. We know 16, 17, 20. It's all the freaking same. But, it ain't the same when you got the Miz man throwing 105 instead of 100. That 105, I've had baseball players, tell me that I've never seen anything faster than like 80 something in my life. But I mean, like a 90, 95, like even that 5 mile an hour difference, Matt, I've heard. So I can't imagine what 105 probably looks like a damn pea coming at you. But yeah. I wouldn't want to hit that, man. Even if you hit it, like I still feel like the vibration going through my arms would hurt for a week.
It's just special when you got major league guys just unable to touch it,
Right, and they're like bragging about it. Like they never really do that kind of shit. But I mean, I thought Aroldis Chapman was bringing it. The Miz is bringing it. I don't know. Hopefully, he didn't get hurt himself too bad yesterday. But yeah, that kid's. It's fun to watch. It's definitely fun to watch. But speaking of the Brewers and the Miz, man, they got a game here with the Padres at home. They got Kyle Harrison up on the mound against Griffin Canning. Brewers for me, I don't think either one of them are all that great a spot here today. I mean, both of them. I mean, Brewers got definitely a higher run total. I mean, I think if you wanted to go after the Brewers, Padre bullpen is been pretty good, and it's been pretty good for a few years. But I mean, you can always look at some Brew Crew. They're always stealing bags, doing all the little things as far as DFS purposes to help you out. But I don't have the Brew Crew at the top of my rankings here today. I kind of got them middle of the road. But yeah, I mean, interesting game all around. Game total 8? But do you see it any differently than I do? Does anything stand out to you? Maybe some one-offs?
Yeah, I want to like this game more than I do or something like that, because Canning, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like he's got talent, but he gets crushed by lefties. Milwaukee has shown upside this year, so I kind of like them. Mostly one-offs, though, like Terang. We'll see what this lineup looks like. And then San Diego, man, it's weird to see that they're winning the NL West. They've got one of the best records in baseball because it seems like they've been so disappointing from a DFS perspective. I mean, this is a team that's just hard to roster. So now you get them against a good pitcher in Harrison. It's tough to get there, man. Like, it really is. I want to make a case for San Diego. They got a bunch of good righties, but they haven't been great this year, and Harrison has been good. So, yeah, can't do it.
Has Tatis
Go ahead, sorry.
He still hasn't hit a homer, has he?
Tatis has not homered yet, but he's been hitting the ball hard, so I'm not afraid to play him. His price tag keeps falling. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're crazy to play a couple San Diego bats on this slate. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I don't mind a couple of missing one-offs. I know I see Sean here saying, Padres such a poverty franchise. It's just they went out and made that big push there when they signed Manny and Tatis, traded for him and all that, and then it just seemed like, they went for it. Now they're just kind of like hiding in their shell or something. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like the Bengals. Like, Bengals get these good talent, and then they just don't seem to follow through and put anything around. It's like Barry Sanders. Like, get the guy a damn lineman once in a while. Jeez, oh Pete. But
yeah, I feel like the Padres straddle the fence a lot. Like, they trade for Soto, then they trade away Soto. Like, they trade for Cease, then they let Cease go. So, like, they traded for Mason Miller. So I can't say that they haven't done anything, but in the same token, it feels like they take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, or sometimes 2 steps forward, 3 steps back,
I will say, though, there's been a DFS, I think a couple years ago, it was the FanDuel baseball final, I believe, was in San Diego, and we got to stay at the Hard Rock right next to the stadium there. And that was pretty cool experience, getting to hang out down there, Padres game. I think they had like a little porch that we sat out in left field. It was a good time. I know FanDuel did a pretty good job, but San Diego is, I mean, it's a beautiful town, beautiful place, but the sports teams, not too much.
It's my favorite city in the country, I think.
Yeah, it's great for people watching too. It's pretty good. But the women there, tens there, just walking around like they're just coming out of the woodworks over there. Mm-hmm. But we got we'll move on to the next game here. We got the Mariners and Astros. We got Luis Castillo against Mike Burrows. Man, I think the Mariners definitely stand out today. I mean, anytime we've been picking on the Astros, seems like, and picking on that bullpen most of the season so far, and rightfully so. They've been absolutely terrible. And then the other side, I think Yordan Alvarez has got to be one of the top bats here today. So I definitely like me some Yordan. But, man, I think overall Seattle is in a pretty good spot. I don't know. I think the big dumper may have hurt himself yesterday, so I'm not sure if Kyle Riley will be in there today. It doesn't look like he's going to be. But, Luke Raley's been raking. I definitely like him. Josh Naylor's been pretty good. K percentage is pretty low for Burrows on the left side. He's up at 26%. On the right side, he's been getting barreled up by lefties. So guys like Crawford, even Cole Young, bottom of that lineup, Naylor, Brandon Donovan up at the top, I think are all interesting. I'd put the Marlins up there, or Mariners, I'm sorry, up in the top of my stack rankings here today. Definitely like them a little bit more than I do the Astros, but I think the Astros are definitely in play against Luis Castillo. He's not generally as good as he is at home. On the road, he's, the strikeouts have been down. But Yordan, for me, stands out for the Astros. I think that is a premium play. Zach Cole would be interesting as well. But, Mariners, for me, stand out. I think they got Riley there in the projected lineup, but I think he hurt himself yesterday or tweaked something yesterday, so I don't think he'll be in there. But I still think they're a strong play today.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about with Seattle is their ownership. Like, I think they're going to be by far the highest owned team. Sims love them here. They're cheap. There's expensive pitching. Like, there's not much not to like, and the field knows it. So I like them a lot too. There's nothing not to like. They have the highest team total on the slate. Saberson loves them. No matter where you look, they're going to look good. But I don't know if I want to ride ownership on Seattle here. That's really all it is for me, though. Like, they look really good. You can certainly play them and get different elsewhere. And as I always say with spots like this, or I usually say, I think you can build good lineups with the Mariners and without the Mariners. There's plenty of other good spots to go to, but the Mariners do look like probably the best. So do with that info what you will.
Yeah. Like Ricky said, Nades and I were talking yesterday, Matt. We thought the dumper was hurt. Just didn't seem like himself so far this year. And it's got to be tough because he, like we were saying, he's behind the plate almost every night. I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest jobs in all of sport. That and being an NHL goalie, just getting constantly pounded on. But, no thank. Them knees are taking a beating. You're getting hit in the thighs and, shoulders with the ball and all that shit. But, I think Mariners are definitely in a pretty good spot. But, I don't know why, but Yordan stands out to me today. I just, if I want to maybe throw in a home run parlay today, I think Yordan's going to have to be a part of it. That's for sure. I mean, he's looks pretty strong today.
I love the Astros here. I didn't even talk about them, but Luis Castillo is just not it anymore. And this is a guy that was an ace for years. He's just not that guy anymore. You see this often with starters in MLB that extend their careers that just don't have the stuff they used to have. Sad to see sometimes. We're approaching that point with Castillo here. Now, you don't get a great Houston lineup, so maybe one-offs are better or mini stacks, but they're cheap also. So, I could see fully stacking Houston in this spot. I like them. Castillo on the road, sign me up.
Yeah, Castillo on the road. I mean, like I said, he seems to be better at home whenever, and he's just a guy like Castillo. He's not even a pitcher that, he's hard to roster, especially when you got some decent guys that have strikeout upside. Just because, I mean, his strikeouts have been way down. I remember, them putting up the K's up there in right field all the time for him at home. I mean, he'd be mowing dudes down. Yeah. Walking his swag around the hill. I mean, it was just. He wasn't
he wasn't like ever the best pitcher in baseball, but he was like a consistent like top 10 guy for a few years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. But the big game here on the slate as far as totals go, what do we got here? We got the A's and Cardinals. A's, been in a good spot, obviously, in that Cracker Jack ballpark. They got out there. The Cardinals are obviously in the same part. We got Lopez and McGreevy. I'm not really worried about either of these two pitchers. I think both teams are in decent spots. I prefer the A's today. I do like the A's. I like the righties especially. I think Rooker's in a pretty good spot here today. Kurt's in a good spot. I think that rookie they got, Henry Bolt, pretty good value. I think yesterday was 2 for 2 coming up. I think was 2,500 or somewhere on there. They got him in the middle of that lineup. So I think he's interesting today. Gyiraszin been hitting pretty well. So I think the A's are interesting against the Cards. I put them up in one of my favorite stacks today. Herrera's in a pretty good spot for the Cardinals on the other side. But, yeah, I think I like the A's more. But can you talk me into any of these cards?
I can, but I'm also with you that I like the A's more. McGreevy is a guy that I've been picking on and it hasn't worked. His underlying numbers are just so much worse than his actual numbers. Either he's just going to keep getting by with smoke and mirrors, or regression's going to hit him hard, and this is a good spot for it to hit him hard. So I like the A's more, but yeah, I mean, the Cardinals lineup is good. They run, and Lopez, he struck out a ton of guys last year, but he's not doing that this year. So anytime you let the ball be put in play in this park, it's a recipe for disaster. I do think, though, like the field sees this as McGreevy is better than Lopez because he's having a better year. All his numbers are better. Makes sense. I view it as reverse, though, because all of Lopez's underlying numbers, or most of them, are better than McGreevy's. So, yeah, I see this kind of opposite the field, even though both teams will get love. So, yeah, this is definitely a game for offense. I like the A's side slightly more.
Yeah, I think with the A's, and you look at McGreevy, he's been pretty good at the righties, 28% K percentage. Is almost half of that for lefties. He's at 15%. His hard hit rates up a little high, 11%. It's at 8.5% against righties. So he has been getting hit. Fly ball percentage, almost 28%. Kind of mid ground ball lean, a little bit more to the right side. But, yeah, I think the lefties are interesting. Rooker, I'd kind of include him in there. Like I said, Bolt, I think is interesting. But, yeah, I mean, A's highest team total on the slate today. Definitely the Optos are going to like some A's. That is for sure.
The only thing about that,
yeah, I mean, hey,
I was going to say the only reason the optimizers and stuff like Seattle a lot more than the A's is because the A's are super expensive. So you cannot really fit all the A's you want with Burns and McClain. You can with Seattle, especially Raleigh's already really cheap. But if you take him out, they're going to be even cheaper. So I think Seattle is going to be higher owned than the A's personally.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's some pretty good options though for offense. I think there's a lot of stacks that all kind of grade out like in a similar type bucket. I wouldn't even say the top stack, which you could argue could be the A's. You could argue, I kind of like the Pirates, the lefties.
You like the Reds?
The Reds. I think there's all kinds of good spots here today to kind of get different with your bats, and maybe get different with a little one-off. That Henry Bolt I think is a great one-off, as cheap as he is. The kid was stealing bags, had some power. I think he had 10 or 11 homers so far this year in the minors. So definitely a kid that's got some potential. I know I used him yesterday in my FanDuel lineups, but yeah, I mean, definitely interesting slate. Matt, before we run out of here, I just got to mention real quick that we are turning 3 years old. We are 3. I can't believe it, Matt. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, but guess what? You get to join for free and you get a Masters. We got a major week week in golf that you can check out. We got the showdown that goes on every day throughout the golf tournament. Make sure you guys go or check it out. I mean, hey, if you got some friends that are dabbling in DFS, I think it's a great opportunity just to kind of give them like the tutorials that are there, everything that you can check out. So make sure, pass the word around. We're pretty excited about it being our birthday. Who ain't excited about when it's your birthday? But yeah, that's definitely something we've been pretty happy about here, Matt. But man, let's give out our top 3 stacks here. Let's give out what do we think, who our favorite pitching combinations are, who we like there, and then let's maybe give a home run call for the people before we run out of here.
All right, favorite stacks. We will go with the A's. We'll go with the Reds, and we'll go with the Astros. And I can't remember what else except for the home run. And I'm with Ricky Rose here also. So I think this guy hits a couple. And that's Fernando Tatis.
Oh, Matt is calling the guy to hit his first time. If he hits a homer today, I'm gonna be sending you a message like right away. You save Fernando Tatis.
He has been crushing the ball. Like he's really been hitting the ball hard.
Sometimes when you're lining it up, I mean, maybe he's just hey, he's seen the ball. You've seen the ball. I used to a lot of times I'd follow walk percentages. If I saw a guy was walking more in recent times than he normally does, I kind of figured he was seeing the ball better, Matt. And I was like, I'll jump on this guy.
I do that.
Maybe
that is something that I follow a lot also, because I think that is true. Not always. Like, of course, some guys are just going to luck themselves into walks. But in baseball, I think that's a really good way to know if someone is starting to see the ball well.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you just follow teams, I like to glance over stats, go for the last 2 weeks and you see a guy that's, walk rates up, 20%, 10%, in just the last couple of weeks from where he is. I mean, it's definitely something to pay attention to. And I mean, hey, that's kind of some of the things that we like to kind of share as we go through, the slates and little tidbits here and there. I mean, there's so much information about baseball that, more so than any other sport. I mean, the stats are absolutely insane for baseball, but a lot of fun, man. But hey, glad to hop on here with you today. Good luck to everybody. Good luck to you today, Matt, as well. Throughout the weekend should be fun with all the golf we have going on. But appreciate everybody joining. Hit that like button on the way out for me too, if you guys would. I'd appreciate that. But hey, let's go kick some ass and let's ship it. Let's see, where is that damn close? I always do that.